Good morning. Today I will be discussing the topic under Module 1 of Strategies in Teaching Science. The topic of Module number 1 is General Principles and TPACK of Science Teaching. I am Dr. Nico Lorenz Pilosi. I am the course instructor of this subject. According to survey, teaching now is associated with the following words. We have technology, pedagogy, and content. When we say pedagogy, it talks about the arts of teaching. When we say content, it talks about the subject matter or the content knowledge. When we say technology, it talks about the integration of technological tools in teaching. Now, we define teaching as a lifelong learning process because knowledge is evolving and progressing in a way that new sets of knowledge exist or added from time to time as humans continuously searching for its satisfaction. So, since this is strategies in teaching science, we relate science in its developments, and we can say that developments are very rapid as new pieces of evidence surface and new knowledge and technologies emerge, invented or discovered. Nowadays teaching becomes challenging because science teachers need to update their content knowledge and retool or equip themselves with new emerging teaching strategies and methods as brought by rapid influences of educational technology. So if you're going to check now, before the visual aids of teachers usually is made up of cartolina, manila paper. That's very traditional. Unlike now, we use technological equipment such as projector, television, or smart TV, laptops, and etc. For example, this teacher, a geography teacher, before they are just using traditional maps. Unlike now, he is using his smart TV to discuss certain regions of the world. Now, technology nowadays plays a significant role in teaching, which is being changed or which has changed our educational landscapes, perspectives, and practices. In this picture, it says that now it's just one click away. Because of the influence of technology, we have now different perspectives, the way we search information, the way we access knowledge is far now unlike before. Because of the technology, we're just using Google or search engine to access the information, but before we are using encyclopedia, where we are using books from the library to access the information. Unlike now, just encode the information that you need, you can access all the information. Our practice has also been changed. Before, our classroom is the teacher is the center of the classroom, and now the teacher now serves as the facilitator of our classes. Now, the introduction of Education 4.0. What are the implications of that as we digitize our instruction? We tend to have reality-based curriculum. Teacher now becomes a learner experience maker or designer. Before we serve as a source of knowledge, we become We became facilitator, but now became we become a learning experience maker. We are now considering personalized or customized learning. Our instructions tend to become or move towards innovation producing. And lastly, we focus on transversal competencies. When we say transversal competencies, these are the skills, knowledge, and attitude that can be integrated to different fields of knowledge. We learning now becomes anytime and anywhere because of the disruptive change driven by industrial revolution, which greatly affects the teaching and learning process because the pervasive use of technology in the classroom settings. So now we experience practical applications, then to have personalized learning. We combine theory and practice in order to promote learning. Now, the TPACK model for science. TPACK stands for technological, pedagogical, and content knowledge. So, as the acronym implies, it helps the teachers effectively determine, assess, utilize their content and pedagogical knowledge with integration of technology. So, based on the diagram, we have three major circles. We have technological knowledge, pedagogical knowledge, and content knowledge. And they are overlapping. For example, technological knowledge overlaps with content knowledge. You have technological content knowledge, technological knowledge and pedagogical knowledge. You have technological pedagogical knowledge. For pedagogical knowledge and content knowledge, you have pedagogical content knowledge. Later, I'll go there one by one to differentiate them. In the larger circle, which talk about the context. Okay, as you can see again, the representation of the Venn diagram shows the interrelationship of the three domains of knowledge. So the overlapping circle shows the how these knowledge or how one knowledge converges with the idea of the other. So later I'll go there one by one. So when we say content knowledge or the CK, it talks about what teachers know. It refers to the knowledge of subject matter such as concepts, theories, ideas, frameworks, evidence and proof, and established practices including ways to develop knowledge. So keyword for content knowledge it talks about what teachers know. Pedagogical knowledge or the PK, how they teach. So how to teach a content. So it refers to the knowledge and practice of teaching and learning that educator can use, such as in classroom, management, taxonomies, planning, and assessment. Third, technological knowledge or TK, how it talks about how to use technology. For example, it refers to the knowledge and mastery of technology so that an educator can use and confidently plan the use of technology in classroom teaching. For example, in biology, I want to talk about vertebrates. So, the vertebrates, the teacher should have a deep understanding or a deep content knowledge about vertebrates so that he or she can design or decide a particular pedagogy or teaching strategies to deliver the topics. For example, he or she can use lecture discussion, think, pair, share, game-based learning. So this knowledge, it helps the teacher to teach creatively. What about technology? The technology that can be used, we can use videos or we can use mobile applications such as the Think Pair Share app. So that is how the three domains of knowledge can be integrated in the teaching of biology, specifically under the topic of vertebrates. So let's talk about now the converging ideas in TPACK framework. First, you have pedagogical content knowledge. Where is it? So, pedagogical content knowledge here. So, PCK, it links together the pedagogical and content knowledge to bring about learning that is built upon strong subject knowledge and teaching and learning strategies. So, it talks about you know the knowledge and you know how to teach it. Or that's PCK. You know the knowledge, you know how to teach it. Now, the technological content knowledge. Technological and content knowledge. So here. So it links together the technology and content knowledge to bring about how technology is used in the subject for deep and lasting learning. Example, using of interactive software to deliver the topics in their subject matter. So it's about expertise on the technology and expertise on the content. So mastery of the content may lead the teacher to decide what type of technology can be used, infused, or integrate in the teaching of the content. So the fluency of the technological or the fluency on the use of technology is necessary, especially nowadays, to design or to deliver the topic in the most effective and efficient way. Third converging idea, we have the technological pedagogical knowledge. So technological and pedagogical knowledge. It is an understanding of how teaching and learning can change when particular technology is used in particular ways and knowing the tools and their appropriateness within strategies. So this one is a convergence between technological and pedagogical. You know how to teach and you know how to select proper technology or appropriate technology so that when you deliver the topic, the technology can aid your way of teaching your strategies. So, for example, you want to have think, pair, share. So, you have to select an application that can utilize that strategy. So, in the previous slide, I have shown you the think, pair, share app that you can use. Another example, you want to have lecture. So, you can use videos. So the fluency again of the teachers in technology may help him or her in delivering his or her lesson. Next, the TPACK, the technological, pedagogical, and content knowledge. It is the intersection of these three domains of knowledge, the content, pedagogy, and technological knowledge, so at the middle. This core area refers to the understanding how technological tools can enhance your teaching and support your students more deeply and effectively. So now context, the big circle. The big circle here, you have the context. Context. When we say context, it is the unique feature of a classroom or school setting that affects learners and teachers' experiences, such as availability of resources, variations on school climate, etc. For example, resources. So the knowledge of a teacher towards the context is very important because he or she can decide what appropriate instructional material can be used. Is it sustainable? Is it durable? Or can the school fund the appropriate instructional material or resources? So the context is really important in the teaching and learning process because it determines the suitability of the strategy that to be used, the technological tools to be integrated or infused. So the teacher's fluency of the context is very significant. So nowadays, context is more important. Context matters. Context, based on the picture here, context is king. So if there's a king, there's a queen. So it's a context and content. We have to couple the context and content. So in the module, I have shown you the essential questions. So answer the following questions in no less than 10 sentences. So I will just give some answers here, some keywords. So you will know if your answers are correct or somewhat aligned with the correct answer. So why is it necessary for a pre-service teacher to become a content expert on his field of specialization? First, we have a saying, you cannot give what you do not have, or you cannot teach what you do not know. So the content knowledge of a teacher should be refined, should be high, should be in the level of expert, so that when he or she teaches, he or she will be able to simplify the content. He or she will know what strategy to be used. He or she will know what type of technology can be integrated in the classroom teaching. Because I believe that the content is the major heart of instructions. Because as I have said earlier, content is important. Content determines everything: strategies, resources, educational tools, etc. How this TPACK, number two, how this TPACK framework helps you to become a better science teacher someday. In my own experience, uh, the first thing that I really developed by myself is the content knowledge. Second is pedagogy. And along with it, of course, the technology. So this framework reminds us to consider the three domains of knowledge plus the context. So this framework reminds us to become expert of these three domains of knowledge plus the context. It helps us to understand our profession more, and it helps us to be creative in teaching. So that's probably my answer. And I hope your answers, or you agree with my answers. Okay, in the activities, I let you to answer this self-checked assessment form. So in this activity, you will be able to identify the topics in the elementary grade science, which among them you think you are very knowledgeable, less knowledgeable, not knowledgeable. So this instrument or self-assessment checked, I assumed that you answer this instrument as honest as possible so that you will know which topics among them that you find difficult, that you need to read more about it or you study more about it, or which of the topics, which among these topics you are more confident, that you think you know it more or you know it better. So I am really expecting that you answer this activity as honest as possible. Okay, so second activity. So in this activity, I let you to categorize the topics above. So by this way, you will be able to identify which topics you are very knowledgeable, less knowledgeable, and not knowledgeable. So based on the tabulation, why do you think you became very knowledgeable or knowledgeable on this topic, on these topics? Four, what were the reasons for the topics why you assess yourself less knowledgeable and not knowledgeable on it? Five, as future educators, how would you change your levels of knowledge towards these topics? So my answer to that is to read, and watch videos, relevant videos towards topic. So module 2. So module 2 will help the student. So for example, each topics here in the module 2 I created videos so that you can recall some knowledge there. So some knowledge, because I believe that content is very important. Content knowledge is significant. So I also let you to answer this, the TPACK assessment by Smith 2020. So by that way find you can get the average of your TPACK level, the 20 items. So this is my references. These are my references. And this is the web link that I have used. And up next for module number 2, I will no longer have lectures on module number 2 because it's a compilation of crash courses videos for science topics. So I will just let you to watch, and watch. For module number 3, this is my next lecture. It will talk about approaches, methods, techniques, and strategies in teaching sciences for elementary grades. That's all. Thank you.